So today we're drawing the nose and the mouth. All right, so we're on our paper from last week. We've got the 4 boxes. We're going to box 3. I'm turning my paper sideways, and I drew a line down the middle. All right, so in this half, I'm going to show you, what is that? All right, so in box 1, we're going to draw it with guides. So I'm going to start with a small circle, probably a little bit smaller than a quarter. All right, and then I'm gonna have 2 more small circles on the side. So these are smaller. So now it's gonna look kind of like Cinderella's carriage. Mine's a little lopsided, but that's okay.
Mine is too.
Nobody's nose is perfect.
How does this look like a nose?
It'll get there. All right, so the circle, the big circle, is for like the center part of your nose, the big part. And then these little side ones are like your nostril flaps, the little parts on the side. All right, so I'm going to draw my nostrils. Where these 2 little circles connect, I'm going to bring it up, wrap it around like a little candy cane shape. Same thing on the other side where the circles connect. I'm going to bring it up, wrap it around like a little candy cane shape. All right, on the right side, I'm going to darken and extend the circle. So it's kind of like a backwards little like J shape, kind of. Okay, and then I can shade in the nostrils. When you're shading in the nostrils, make sure you do it real soft. If you do it real liney, it looks like nose hairs. Okay, all right, so we're going to do the left side. Same thing, we're going to kind of wrap under, going around this circle. And we're going to extend it up like we did on the other side. All right, but this time I'm going to extend it going straight up for the bridge of my nose. And I'm not just going to do one dark line. I'm almost going to color it lightly. So I come in, line's pretty straight for a while. And then, Viva, quit yelling out. Go up and over where the eye is, like on that brow bone that we talked about yesterday with the face mask. Okay, and then I can take my finger and kind of blend that. No, I don't have one here. All right, so you could leave it at this. This would be fine. This would be a great looking nose. If you wanted to, like if you feel your nose, you'll feel like the bumps on the side where like little nostril flaps come out. And that's kind of this area right here on the circle. So I'm just adding a little shadow there. You could, if somebody was really drawing this, the circles would have been so light that once you add all your shading and stuff, they kind of disappear.
Does that look good?
I'll come around and look. All right, so there's our nose with the guide. No. All right, so go to this one. We're going to do basically the same thing except without the guide. So I start with the middle part. I call it the bowl of the nose, this little part right here. But it's not always this rounded or this wide. Sometimes it's a little skinnier. I'm going to draw it a little closer together. Yeah, a little smile. All right, and I'm still going to branch it off with the candy canes. And some people's aren't always rounded. Like some people's might, like if their nose might be pointier there, and it might be almost more triangular, like that. Kind of, or like a weird bird flying. All right, so I'm going to wrap these around. I'm just going to stick with the candy canes for now. But if you were drawing somebody, you would pay attention to their nostril shape, even though it sounds really gross. All right, on the left side, I'm just going to put like a little parenthesis shape that wraps around. And then on the right side, parenthesis shape. And then you need to raise your hand, Viva, and then straighten up and over where the eye would be. All right, and then you'll lightly shade in your nostrils. And if you wanted to add in those other shadows, you could at this point, but again, you don't have to. If you liked it the way it looked, it's fine. All right, raise your hand if you like doing it with the guides better. Oh, okay. Raise your hand if you like just winging it better. Yeah, same. Okay. All right. Now go to box 4. Leave it sideways. And we're going to do the mouth. All right, so draw a line that goes down the middle again.
We could have just made a continuous line.
Yeah. And then this half, we're going to cut just that half in half. So you have 1, 2, and then the big box. All right. So in this one, we're going to use the guides again for the lips. We're going to have a bigger circle and then 2 littler ones on top. So it kind of looks like Mickey Mouse with his ears real close together. This is the little one. We haven't got to the big side yet. So one of the little boxes. All right. So these circles, the big one represents the fullest part of your bottom lip. And the 2 little circles represent the 2 fullest parts of your top lip. All right. So we're going to start just a little bit lower on the sides. So I'm starting a little bit lower than between the circles. And then it comes up, squeezes between the circles, and then dips back down. And it looks like we are about to draw an eye. All right, and then I'm going to do the bottom lip. So now it really looks like an eye. So the whole purpose of that circle was to say, okay, this is about how thick that lip needs to be. So that bottom line touches that circle. All right, and then I'm going to do the top lip, and these circles are kind of acting like this is where the little peaks are on your lip. So start about the same spot, go up and over these little peaks, and then back down. What? Mine are pretty full, but if I was drawing someone with thinner lips, I could make the circles smaller. Okay. All right, and then I'll add shading to the next one. So the next one we're doing the same thing, but no guides. So I just start with the middle line, and I'm going to make these a little bit thinner. So there's my middle line. That's this line right here. And like I said, I'm going to make these a little bit thinner. So I've got my bottom lip. It's not quite as big as the one above. And then I've got my top lip. Still have a little peak in the middle. I do like having the guide for the peak in the middle because mine are always off-centered in different sizes. All right, so if I'm adding shading, remember things typically that are a little bit further away are going to be darker, or if there's overlapping, it's going to be darker. And then the parts that are coming towards you are lighter. So if you have masks on, but if you can feel your lips, like you'll think about the parts that you hit first, are kind of these more full parts, so kind of the parts of our circle. So the center part where it's overlapping, you shall see, is going to be darker. The edges are underneath are a little bit darker. Yeah. And then lighter. And you could even leave a highlight like we did with the eyes.
looks like you have 3 eyeballs. 3 eyeballs and all that.
All right, so now let's go to this box. Turn it. I know mine's upside down, but it's easier to fit under this projector. All right, so this time we're going to draw a person smiling. Okay, so I'm going to start with an almost straight line. Sometimes people, when they're smiling, their lip kind of points downward, or sometimes it curves up. Again, you would just have to look at whoever you're drawing. All right, so the part I'm going to draw, it looks like the bottom lip, but it's not. It's like the opening of your mouth, like where you're going to be able to see your teeth. I'm just going to bring this down. I'm going to flatten it out a little bit on the bottom and then curve it up. So this is not a bottom lip, even though it looks like it. All right, so now I'm going to do the bottom lip. The sides are going to be a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to keep my line close to this one. And then near the bottom, it's going to get a little more full. And then get skinny again. All right. And now, so think about when you're smiling, like if this is what my lips look like normally, that'd be so nice. But if this is what my lips look like normally, when I smile, what do you think it does to your lips? Kind of. It's hard to do because I have a mask on, but it spreads them out a little bit, okay? Because I spread my face, so my lips are going to get a little bit thinner. All right, so I'm going to start over here. Still have the peaks, but they're going to be a little further apart. All right, and some of y'all may have done this last year. All right, so for the teeth, what we don't want to do, so don't draw this, is draw every individual tooth because it's kind of terrifying to look at. Let's make a great Halloween picture, but it is scary. Okay, hold on. Eventually, you could get to a point where you could draw all the tooth. You don't want it to look like this, but for now, we're going to outline it, not the whole thing, no. So we're going to outline the top and bottom, okay? So we're going to do the top where your gum line is, okay? The gums are those pink things that hold your teeth inside your head. So it actually starts in the very middle, and it's going to look like I have a really little fang. And keep it light, like a little tiny little fang, because if you make it dark, then that's like all you can focus on, and that's scary too. We don't want either of these happening. All right, and then I'm going to go to the side a little bit. So think a tooth is here, so where would it end? Okay, so I'm going to place another little thing right there. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, keep them light. All right, and then I've got another tooth here, and I'm going to add another thing, but now it's getting closer together. Same thing, and I'm closer together. And I'm going to add maybe one more. If you don't have room for it, don't add it. Okay, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. You shouldn't have like 15 because you really don't see like all your teeth up front anyway. All right, so this is the outline of the top of my tooth. Now I'm going to outline just the bottom. So here's the top of a tooth. So imagine a tooth in here. And now I'm going to do the bottom of it. Okay, and then the bottom of the next one. So these little parts, where they point up, should be pointing up towards the little fangs, which is your gum line. And I can darken the corner. All right, so there's a tooth. There's a tooth.
That looks terrifying.
Oh, y'all see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do not. I see it on yours, not on mine.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice because you got to make sure everything's really lined up. This tooth looks a little big.
Mine looks big.
And if you space them out too far, then it looks like you have like a mouthful of marshmallows. You just got to make sure you're spacing everything. All right, so that completes your practice page for today.